We begin with a look at the day's top national headlines. The Supreme Court is giving President Trump's controversial travel ban the go-ahead as legal challenges continue to work their way through the courts. The ban impacts people traveling from the 6 Muslim-majority countries of Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, and Chad. And House Republicans have voted to go to conference to reconcile their sweeping tax plan with the Senate. The decision late Monday came just days after Senate Republicans passed their bill to overhaul the nation's tax code. Yesterday, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi called the bill Armageddon. Meanwhile, vicious winds are fueling a wildfire burning out of control this morning in Southern California. In just a few hours, the fire grew just a few hundred acres to more than 10,000. County officials say one person was killed in a car accident associated with the blaze, and the Ventura County Fire Department says 1,000 homes are being evacuated. CBS's Tom Waite is in Santa Paula, California with the latest.
A fast-moving wildfire in Southern California has forced hundreds out of their homes and left even more without power. Fire officials say the blaze, dubbed the Thomas Fire, started at just about 50 acres, but in the span of just a few hours grew to around 5,000 acres. The quick spread is being blamed on high winds with gusts of up to 70 miles per hour.
The prospects for containment are not good. Really, Mother Nature is going to decide when we have the ability to put it out because it is pushing hard with the wind.
The fire also struck some key transmission lines, knocking out power to tens of thousands of customers. Residents of Santa Paula, about 70 miles northwest of Los Angeles, say they got reverse 911 calls ordering them to leave their homes.
I'm not going to wait around for somebody to have to come rescue me, so I'm out of here.
We've been here almost 30 years and we've gone through floods, we've gone through fires, but it's just the wind. You just don't know where it's going to go.
Adding to the difficulty of fighting this fire, the National Weather Service predicts continued high winds and low humidity throughout the week. In Santa Paula, Tom Waite, CBS News.
Shelters have been set up at a local school and county fairgrounds for evacuees, and here is a live look of that blaze right now from a helicopter as they zoom out and pan the area. It just keeps going and going and going, so firefighters there have a lot of work ahead of them. Well, today marks the day 2 of the trial for 20-year-old DeMarzio Sanchez, one of the suspects in the strangulation and burning death of a Crow Agency woman. The rancher who found Roy Lynn Wright's horse burned and naked in a field near Busby last year testified during the trial's first day in U.S. District Court in Billings on Monday. The man said he was on his way to Billings to check on his herd when he saw the victim in the road. Wright's horse told the man she was thirsty and he tried to give her soda. The man became emotional as he explained how the victim's lips were melted shut and she couldn't sip the drink, so he gave her a straw that he had saved. This was hours after Wright's horse was beaten, strangled, and set on fire, allegedly by Sanchez, who she had just met that night. Also on Monday, the judge ruled the victim's dying words cannot be admitted because Wright's horse never told anyone that she knew she would die. Testimony continues today. Elsewhere, prosecutors say the man who was killed and decapitated on the city's West End last month may have been killed over just $6. Court documents state the victim, Myron Knight, told workers at a Billings casino he frequented that something might happen to him and who they should look for if it did. Suspects Donald Cherry and Jeffrey Haverty made their initial court appearances on Monday and were charged with deliberate homicide. The two were arrested on Friday. Court documents state in late October, the two men met Knight at Montana Lil's casino, where Knight was a regular customer. Staff at the casino told police before the 3 men left together, Knight asked them to hold his winnings, totaling $120, in case the 2 men tried to rob him. He also told staff if he did not come back, the 2 men were responsible. After leaving the casino, documents say the 3 men made their way to Haverty's campsite, which is where the body was eventually found. Cherry's girlfriend, who says she was with the 3 men at the campsite, says she left for about 15 to 20 minutes, and when she returned, Knight was bleeding and said he appeared to be dead. She told investigators she watched as Haverty, then Cherry, used a knife to cut off his head. While the initial autopsy report said Knight likely died of blunt force trauma, the state medical examiner says Knight was likely alive when he was decapitated. The girlfriend says Cherry told her Haverty attacked Knight with a hammer after he tried to rob him, and he only had $6. Haverty and Cherry are both being held on $500,000 bonds. Their arraignments are set for later this month. In other news, the candidate selected by Billings city officials to serve as the new administrator has yet to comment on whether he'll be taking the job. Greg Doyon is currently the Great Falls city manager and has held the title since 2008. Great Falls Mayor Bob Kelly says if Doyon takes the job, Great Falls would lose a great asset to their community.
The fact that the Billings City Commission has voted 9-0 to offer Greg the job indicates the talent and the person that we knew we had here with Mr. Doyon. We wish him the best of luck in making his decision, and we hope he does what's best for himself and his family.
If Doyon decides to take the position, the Great Falls mayor tells us that the process can take up to 6 months to find a replacement. Now we go to downtown Billings, where plans for the proposed One Big Sky Center are changing. During a work session on Monday night, Bob Dunn of the Hams Company, which is spearheading the One Big Sky Center, says now the goal is to create developments beyond the single structure. A significant part of the new plan is creating districts that will hold anchor construction, such as a convention center downtown, to spur events regionally and nationally.
Concepting and building a venue that is not just a meeting and convention space, but it could be a concert hall, it could be a community pavilion, it could be a farmer's market on weekends, it could be any number of different uses. And it's what we like about convention centers is it's a big shed. We just got to figure out how to build it smarter.
In other parts of the state, both Bozeman and Missoula are also in the planning stages of constructing convention centers. And last, before we take a break, this morning, MTM's Tim McGonigal introduces us to a woman who has spent nearly 20 years raising puppies that will go on to help others.
Come on, you can do it. There you
To
go.
most, this looks like just another day in the park.
Yay. Good girl.
But for these best of friends, days like these will soon be over.
I just got her letter to take her back, so that's kind of sad.
Kim Monroe is a puppy raiser for Canine Companions for Independence, a California-based nonprofit that trains service dogs like Dea for the disabled.
So whether they're in a wheelchair or they just have trouble picking things up, opening doors, maybe they just get really fatigued, the dogs will carry things for them, so they just help them live independent lives.
Kim picked up Dea when the puppy was just 8 weeks old, and for almost a year and a half, she's been in charge of Dea's training.
And there's a lot of work that goes into them. It's 24/7, and I think people don't understand that. They just think, oh, I'm going to put a vest on my animal, they're well behaved. Well, there's so much more than that that goes into raising a good service dog.
Dea, here. Good girl. Side. Side. Yeah, that's nice.
We potty train them before they go out in public, of course, and then we teach them basic commands. So we go to class a couple times a month to be socialized with other dogs, and then I start to bring her out into the community as well.
Dea's adventures have included trips to the youth orchestra, schools, even the doctor's office. Because she's so mellow, Dea even gets to accompany Kim to work. But don't let the laid-back attitude fool you.
Everybody always asks me, do you let them play? She gets plenty of playtime. Yeah. But when her vest is on, she knows that's time to be serious. Okay. When her gentle leader goes on, she's like, time to work.
In February, Kim will take Dea back to California for an emotional farewell and graduation ceremony. But she knows it will be more than worth the tears she'll shed.
If you raise a puppy that becomes a service dog, you get to hand the leash over to the person who gets them. The difference you see in the lives of the people that you give the dogs to, there is nothing to compare to that. That's why you can keep doing it. That's why I can keep doing it, because I know the impact that it has on people.
Kim has been volunteering with Canine Companions for 17 years, but she's only one of 2 of the organization's Montana puppy raisers.
We had a puppy-looza last year, and we're desperately in need of puppy raisers. Sure. Yeah, because we have a waiting list of 1.5 years of people waiting for a dog. We can't do it without having our puppy raisers start them.
It's a cause that even Dea speaks of highly.
That a girl. Yeah.
In Great Falls, Tim.
And you can learn more about Canine Companions at cci.org.